If there is something out of all of the days that I've lived so far would express more that life is a process, then it would be today. Because I've really started to realize that you can't just do just everything at once. You cannot reach a certain place just in an instant. You cannot like just have something without there being a process of actually getting it. And today I've really realized it. On the drive back home, I was in some sort of, I guess, deep mental state, and I was just really thinking about just how my life is going in general, and what I want to do with my goals, with what I want to do with my life, just actually pursue something that gives me joy, because I've always had this kind of like inner frustration about the things that I do, or if I don't do them as quickly or as good. And I want to do so many things at once that I've even started to lose sleep because of it. And these things, they pile up and they add up, and then you're just mad because all this built up frustration and anger, and all the nights in which you didn't sleep as well, and everything just combines and just attacks you all at once, and you can really feel it. You can really feel it with every single bone in your body. You can really feel it. And so, especially today, out of every single day that I've lived so far, today is when I can really feel that boiled up emotion, sleeplessness, and just everything all at once. And so I just had to take a step back and actually look at what I'm doing, look at everything from a different perspective. Just instead of just trying to get everything done at once, just in an instant, you just not take your time. I mean, you should still have a deadline and everything, but more of like things need time, things have a process. You won't get from A to B in an instant. If it would be in an instant, it was probably not something very special, useful, practical, or anything else, because the process it took was instant, so which means you could probably do it again and again and again, and it would not really benefit you in any way, or at least not that anything that I could think of. And so really everything just has its time, everything has the process that it needs to actually reach somewhere, reach a goal, reach a destination. And so just take that time, use that process. That doesn't really make sense. Process in that sentence doesn't really make sense. Just use it. And just realize that you can't do everything at once. You can't just have what you want without there being some kind of process delay or just some kind of way to that goal. Because if you have a goal, which means you need to somehow get from A to B, and that A to B, that distance is what is time, and it is what you use and how you use that time in between, and what you do on the way is what really changes the way that you are going to do things and the way you're going to actually admire once you reach that destination. Most times you don't actually enjoy the destination, but you enjoy the journey towards that destination. And so and it has really become something very hard on me, because I am a person, I want to be as productive as possible. I want to get things done quickly. And then of course, because you want to get things done quickly, especially with the more important stuff, you just neglect everything else because you just want to get that done and just put away. And it can have its benefits and of course its downsides, but I have really started to just have more problems than I have been getting good solutions. And so I need to just take things one step at a time and not try to perfect something, not try to like rush something. Just take it as it comes. Give it your best shot that you can. And then you just continue on. Because there is no point in me telling you that, yeah, you should give 100%. Of course you should give 100%. But some things just have a process. You cannot just expect that just because you're giving 100%, even if you give 120, 150, that the way to that goal is quicker. Maybe it is if you would have, maybe it is compared to just doing it 50%, but in the end there is still a process. There is still an in-between, because just because you're giving 100% and not 80% in the gym doesn't mean that it will not take still 8 weeks for you to have built some sort of muscle mass. It will still take you 8 weeks to have built significant muscle mass if you have given 80% or 100% in the gym. Like, that time does not change. It's just how much and how well and just how well you've trained and how much muscle you've actually built in total during those 8 weeks is what those fine percentages and how much and how good you've worked for actually comes into play. But the actual time and process it needs and takes is still the same. And so, as much as I'm telling you to give 100%, you also have to be aware that things take time. There is a process. So just don't try to rush anything that you will regret later on. Don't just rush something that you'll really regret later on. And so, oh man, my throat is dry. Wait. I drink too less water a day, so I need to drink more. And so that's why when I talk for so long, my throat gets dry. And so something that I can really recommend is just when you're planning something, when you have an idea of what you want to do, take into account the time. So let's do it like this. Instead of trying to tell yourself that you want to reach a certain goal. Let's say, wait, what kind of example could I use? Like, one of my goals is trying to bulk up. I'm currently 80 kilograms, up to 100 kilograms of body weight. And I know it won't be easy, and I know I need to put in 100%. I have to be strict, and I'm really strict. I'm giving 100% in this. And as much as I've told myself, yes, I could reach it until like, what did I put as? March, I think? Yeah, March. At the beginning of March. And as much as I'm going to try, and that is my goal, I'm going to try and reach in that time, I am aware that I shouldn't try and rush anything, so that if I need some time to deload, if I need some time to readjust something, it will extend that time. And I know this is a process, this is part of the process. I mean, if everything would work linearly, life would be pretty boring. And so you have to be aware that there are things that are going to go wrong. There are things that are going to hinder you from actually reaching that, and that is again part of that process. And so what I'm trying to tell you with this is that no matter how much you try to rush, how much you try to frustrate yourself, get sleepless nights in, and as much as I would recommend you to give 100%, you should be aware that there will always be something that will hinder you. There will always be something, because that is the process that is from reaching A to B. There is never something that will go 100% right. Never. There will always be something unexpected. There will always be something that will hinder you from reaching that final goal. But you know what? As much as I've said that word 1,000 times probably in this video, it is part of that process.